I'm going to create a short tutorial here and probably make a couple of mistakes that I made when I first started using Algodoo, and hopefully I'll point these mistakes out and save you some of the pain and suffering I went through, even though it really is a lot of fun. I'm going to start by opening a new scene here. I'll select default. I'm going to start with the block tool, create a block, and then I'm going to start the simulation and watch what happens. Well, when I started the simulation, gravity became effective and the block fell down. I'm going to stop the simulation here. That's a mistake I often made. I won't stop the simulation. I'll then try to build while the simulation is running, which creates a lot of problems. So let me take the block tool again. I'm going to create another block over here. And I'm going to run the simulation and let that fall, down on top of the other block. Stop this simulation. Now I'm going to right click or control click on a Mac, and I'm going to select clone. And there I have a clone or a copy, a duplicate of that block. I'm going to set that over on this side. Notice I've selected an object, and I know I've selected it because it's outlined in white. When I click off the object, then of course it's no longer selected. I'll run the simulation to be sure those two blocks are set. I'll stop the simulation. Now I'm going to create a third block in between these two blocks. Show you something really slick in Algodoo. I'm going to right click again, and I'm going to liquefy. Now that's really become water. When I run the simulation, we'll see what happens. Those two blocks weren't strong enough to hold the water, so it drained away. I'll stop the simulation. I'll hit the back arrow. Well, okay, then we can go back to where it was. We don't have to reconstruct that again. I did that on purpose to show you to use this fixate tool. And fixate means I can nail that block to the background or to another object. And now when I run the simulation, it's fixed and it contains the water safely. Pretty slick, huh? I'll stop this simulation again. I'm going to select the circle tool, and I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to simulation stop. I'm going to create a circle. I'm going to select that. I'm going to make it wood. I'm going to then place it on top of the water. Wood should float, shouldn't it? Then I'll run the simulation and see what happens. Let me click off so you can see the floating sphere of wood there. If I click back on this menu, I have a default material: glass, gold, helium, steel, and so on. Its density, friction, coefficient of restitution, and so on can be set in those blocks, but more about that later. Of course, if I'd have made that a gold ball, it would have sunk to the bottom. I'm going to stop the simulation. So you see, with just a very small number of clicks and just a couple of the tools, essentially the ball and the sphere tool and the fixate tool, I was able to create a kind of interesting little simulation. And I really recommend that you build these simple ones first. Build a lot of the simple ones before you try to start combining them into more complex mechanisms or machines. Have fun!